So you mentioned about Java, Jaishankar. So how confident are you in Java? How would you rate yourself in a scale of 0 to 5?
So,
Okay. So did you undergo any training in Java, or is this something which you have learned as a part of your work?
yeah, I have learned as a part of the no training. I have make a project from myself and with some team, and then I learned the Java.
So whenever we talk about Java, there is one term that we say that Java is platform independent, right? So how does Java achieve platform independence?
So in Java we have a JVM. In when we are writing the code and compile in the dot class file, it is communicating with the JVM, and JVM is directly communicating with the our operating system. So Java means if you write any code in any computer, any operating system, it will be converted into machine language, and it is communicating with the JVM. Only you need to install JVM in any system. Your code will work any operating system. It is not depend on platform because our code is not communicating with the operating system directly. JVM is communicating.
Okay. So you mentioned about JVM. So there is something called JRE, there is something called JDK, right? So in a production environment, which of these three is required?
Uh, JRE is required for the
Okay.
production. Yeah.
Okay. So have you ever worked in any cloud infrastructure? Do you know what
Yeah.
a cloud computing is?
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you used Maven?
Yeah.
What is the role of pom.xml in a Maven?
So, in the pom.xml, basically, suppose you have to connect MySQL. So, MySQL connector, you have to add if MySQL connector is defined in the pom.xml, then all the jars related to that file is getting added in your external files. So all those dependencies, suppose you want to HTTP or you want to JSON and you want to any like Lombok or any other things, you have to define the pom.xml. It will automatically means import all the jar through the main.
You mentioned about microservices. So, microservices something which is relatively new, but earlier also we have been using service-oriented architecture, web services, REST services, right? So, what is the difference between the web services which was before and microservice?
So in my
Sure. So, you mentioned about API gateway. Can you tell me something about API gateway? What is your understanding about it?
So API gateway is used for the basically if you are using some microservice architecture. In that case, suppose you want to authenticate user, the request is going through for the any service. So you want to check that other user is authenticated or not. So all the authentication, logging, or any type of centralized things are done through API gateway. So from the first, all the requests go through the API gateway and then pass out to the all other services. So
Okay.
it is a centralized point. Yeah.
So, do you know anything about containers, Docker? Have you ever
Yeah.
worked on Docker?
Yeah.
What is a container?
So
So in you have worked in the projects and you mentioned about integration also. One question is, so how do you make your application highly available? So how do you ensure high availability of an application?
for making high availability, we have a Kubernetes part. So in the Kubernetes, what is happening that when any instances is getting created, suppose we have multiple services, and we have a service like loyalty, which is normally less in use, and payment services which is normally high in use, movie store which is also high in use. So these services are auto scaled mode. So we defined in the application deployment.yml file that minimum three instances are required for this service, and if CPU usage is greater than 70%, another instance is getting created, and maximum is 10 instance. So suppose any a more load is getting created, so Kubernetes is taking care of all those things. It will automatically create multiple instances of the services and automatically getting decreasing the instances of the services. So you don't need to do anything. Kubernetes is taking care of these things. So basically this will create availability. We have a use circuit breaker pattern. Suppose some services is not getting not responding. In that case, we have the circuit breaker resilience for the we have used. So in that case, what we are doing that in resilience project, we have write that after this 100 requests, the service is not getting responding. So in that case, circuit breaker is in open state and it is getting responding you as a default parameter. If after some time it will go to the half open state, in that case, some request is getting passed out, and if the response we are getting in the some request, like in the 110 request, they are passing out to the service. If respond is getting, we are getting response, then it is on the closed state. If not again not getting response, it is reverting back to the open state. So by this way, we can handle if some service is not responding.
Okay. So what is the current team size?
It
And your particular role, you are in the Java development of it, is it?
no
So all eight are developers, or there are other roles as well?
four are developer, I mean 5 are developer and 3 are QA.
Okay. Okay. Fine. So, Jaishankar, I think I'm almost done with my questions. What I will do is I'll pass on my feedback to the HR and they will get back to you. Meanwhile, if you have any questions for me, do let me know. I'll try and answer.
No, I'm fine.
Okay. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.